The good news today is about the way, the new way. I'd like to take just a few minutes to show you how I believe Orange Coast Church is doing church in a new way. First of all, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." And then when Jesus said that, he was actually using words that were very familiar to the Jewish people. Now, we're not going to talk about the truth and the life today, just the way. But when he said, "I am the way," that was shocking news to the Jews because they thought they knew the way, and it wasn't through Jesus. It was through the commandments. In Deuteronomy, it says, "You shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God has commanded you." And so the Jews actually had 512 laws that interpreted the 10 Commandments so that you could be sure and keep them because that was the way. And we know that Isaiah says, "This is the way, walk in it." And we know that the psalmist says, "Teach me your way, O Lord." This was the way, and the way was important to the Jewish people. They wanted the way to have this relationship with God because they were the promised people. So when Jesus comes along and he says, you guys got it all wrong. It's not the law and your obedience to the law that's the way. I am the way. That was a new thought to them. And he said that specifically because he understood what they were thinking. "I am the way," Jesus said. And indeed, he is the way. The church is a family, not a building. You know, some people look at our church and they say, "Well, you guys, when are you going to get your own facility?" And, you know, having your own facility is a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because you can get it the way you want it. You can do things the way you want to. But it's a bad thing because then you're pouring all the money into bricks and mortar and not into ministry. Orange Coast Church, when I was called to be the pastor some 8 years ago, I was told right up front that if someone wants to give us a building, we'll take it. But that's not what we're all about. We much rather put our funds into ministry and into staff than we do into building. So while we rent this facility that we're in, it's not a bad thing. It's a positive thing. It's a good thing in many, many ways. And of course, we want to thank the Village Church for allowing us to meet here. So the church is a family, not a building. Next, the mission of Orange Coast Church is to share and care. And there are ABCs in which we share. We share through artistic expression, and the Fine Arts Fair is an example of that. Biblical instruction. We have Bible classes that meet every Saturday morning from 10 to 11. They range from the youngest kids to the oldest members. And then we also have biblical instruction throughout the week with our small groups. And then we have community involvement. And we're so happy that many of you are involved in specific personal ministries as well as ministries of the church. A number of different ways that we care. We care through acceptance, through belonging, and through compassion. And that's what we want to be. We want to be an accepting congregation, a congregation in which you feel comfortable that you belong, and a congregation that has compassion. So we share and care through those ABCs. When we decided to be a church, we had this mission of where we were going, what kind of church were we going to be. And we said right up front, we don't want to be a typical Adventist church. We don't want to have the typical Revelation seminars or evangelistic meetings. We don't think that even works real well in many parts of Orange County. We said, you know, what we want to do is reach out to the former Adventist and fringe Adventist. Originally, I think we wanted to be the church that was for the unchurched. And then we noticed, just by observation, that Rick Warren does a great job of that. And he has a huge ministry. You know, he's written books. He had the invocation at the inaugural address. And we know that he does a great job reaching the unchurched. And to be quite honest, we tried to do that, and we didn't do a very good job. I don't think we know how to do that as well as he does. But what we discovered? We discovered that what we do well is that there are former Adventists or fringe Adventists who basically have left the church because we were not meeting their needs. And they have said, you know, Orange Coast Church is new, it's refreshing, it's different. And we like Orange Coast Church. And it doesn't appeal to the old way of doing things. It's new and it's better and we like it. And so we decided to focus on that. And we felt like growing the church was going to happen through what's called natural church evangelism, where every member is a minister. And we just share our faith at work, we share it with our neighbors, we share it with each other, and the church just grows. We also made a commitment to Christian education. And many of you are not aware of this, but every month we put $1,600 into Christian education. We've picked a local Christian school that happens to be located in Laguna Niguel, and we send $1,600 a month to that school to help them with their budget. In addition to that, we give away scholarships to many of our students to attend other Christian colleges and high schools. Our church membership has grown. This natural church membership works. And we found out that at the very beginning when we were organized, we had 113 members. But then over the years, you can see we've grown to the point where we ended 2008 with 325 members. And that's good news, isn't it? We keep growing, and we keep sharing, and we keep caring. What we said was that we don't want to be a traditional Seventh-day Adventist church. In a traditional church, there are 28 doctrines, and in order to become a member, you actually stand up front, and this takes place in many places, even yet today. And they read the 28 doctrines, and you say yes to every one of them. And they say, okay, you believe these 28 doctrines, that's good. Do you promise to behave? Now, my wife is still trying to get me to do this one, but... you know, do you promise, not to drink or smoke or fool around, basically is what it's saying. Do you promise to do all these things? And you say, yes, I promise to do that. So you believe and you behave. And so in the traditional Seventh-day Adventist church, they say, okay, now because of that, we'll accept you and you can belong. And what Orange Coast Church said is, well, it's backwards. What we said is that you belong. If you have a desire to come to church, we don't care, what kind of habits you have. If you have strange beliefs, if they're different than mine. We don't really care. Just come. You belong. And once you belong, we believe that believing and behaving will follow. Isn't that good news? We want you to belong. It's just like your kids. Do you only love your kids when they believe like you and behave like you? No, you love your kids no matter what. And so that's what we want to do. We want people to feel like they're family, the people that will belong first, and believe and behaving comes later.